Why is Yenndo so good at sucking? Yenndo is an anomaly among FNAF characters, and while I think he's personally the coolest endoskeleton we've seen, I've always been curious about how he puts you down. You pull up the camera, can faintly see him looking over your monitor, and if you drop it without pulling it back up in time, then Yenndo sucks the soul out of you. But why? And how hard is he sucking to make this possible? For starters, we'll have to find out how much air is in the room we're in, aka volume. I originally was planning on figuring out the volume of the entire map the custom night takes place in, but thankfully Yenndo tossed us a bone. When Yenndo sucks you, he takes around 51 to 53% of the oxygen in the room. We'll just round this down to 50 to make this easier for us. Regardless of if you have every door and vent closed or opened, he still sucks at the same amount, meaning that the area outside the room is irrelevant. I don't know how he does it, but holy fuck am I happy I don't have to find the volume of this entire map. Immediately, I got to work trying to piece together how big the room is by using Yenndo. I was originally going to use Help Wanted 2's private room, however, while these rooms are very similar, calling them the same is a bit of a stretch. Luckily, Scott decided to give us a break and actually gave us the official heights of almost every animatronic in sister location. Sadly, Yenndo is one of the exceptions. Funtime Freddy is 1073 pixels tall, and Yenndo comes in just barely shorter at 1068 pixels tall. I know every pixel counts, but I'm not gonna bother putting any extra thought into this and just say they're the same height, which happens to be 6 feet tall thanks to Funtime Freddy's blueprint. And now that we've got his base height, we can use him as a ruler to get a good estimate of just how big the room is. I decided to grab his render straight from the files and then line it up with the screenshot taken directly from the game. I then decided to draw in legs that should roughly be the same size as his normal ones. It's also worth noting that Yenndo is clearly crouching a bit in this render, so we'll be subtracting about 2 inches from his height, making him 5'10" when he's in our office. Skipping over the math a bit because I know some of you are falling asleep, the room is 1909 pixels tall, or 182.4 centimeters tall, and 342.3 centimeters wide. The z-axis, or length, isn't so clear cut because as far as I'm aware, the room has always existed as a 2D image, so its depth isn't very easy to grab. I decided to guesstimate it to 4 feet long because it's impossible to know what's behind us and the room isn't particularly spacious. Putting these funny numbers together gives us a sum of 7,630,900 cubic centimeters, or 2,015 gallons worth of volume. And if you need a visual of that, then it's a little bigger than this, which may seem a bit underwhelming, and believe me, I agree, but keep in mind we're only taking into account the office of the private room, and with how small and cylindrical the private room is, assuming there's nothing behind our field of view, it's not a surprise that the number seems a bit low. This isn't even that far off from the size of Help Wanted 2's private room, so go figure. And now that we've got our volume, it's time to figure out how hard Yenndo sucks. If you don't have the memory of a goldfish, then you remember Yenndo sucks about 50% of the room. As for air pressure, I believe it'd be no different from what you and I have up on the surface. While it's true air pressure increases the deeper you go, many facilities use very complex ventilation systems to keep their air pressure as close to sea level as possible. And if you look at basically any room in sister location, there is no shortage of pipes, valves, and vents, which all indicate that this place has a very complex ventilation system. Earth's usual air pressure at sea level is 101,325 pascals, which sounds fucking brutal for just basic air pressure, but to actually do any damage to you, you'd need millions of pascals worth of force. The average air density in a room is 1.204 kilograms per cubic meter, so we'll just go with that. Now we just multiply 101,325 pascals times 3.81545 cubic meters per second. And if we didn't forget to carry a 1, then Yenndo should be using 386,600 joules worth of work every single second. That's definitely a number, but what does it mean? Well, starting off, that's almost 2 Big Macs, which funnily enough is also about 4 sticks of dynamite. Yeah, science is kind of funny sometimes. As to why he does this, I can only suspect it's because he's basically Golden Freddy. And the funny thing is, Yenndo doesn't even kill you with this. Yes, Yenndo sucks all the air from the room, but the loss of air is not the reason you die. It's simply a side effect of him existing in the office. Massive thank you to Ren for for helping me with the math in this video. You made it a lot less painful. Love you. Subscribe, follow, join, get out of my sight. Special thanks to our beautiful channel members, Zonic, Lion, Sergeant Saltstick, Boyfriend, Vicenti1313, Arcade77, and Bam. Thank you all for being amazing.